Good job. What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman, the third of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. It is Thursday, July 25th, and up to this point, we have had 3 training camp practices filled with a lot of action. Evan Williams with a few picks this week. Eric Stokes reminding everybody that he was drafted in the first round. There's a long list of notables. They're all mainly on the defensive side, and that in part is due to Jordan Love not being on the field, as all of you have been made well aware of by now. That seems to be, and rightfully so, become a hot topic. We'll get into that a little bit later. Some not so inspiring news out of training camp has been the offensive side of the ball. And there's a lot that goes into that. First and foremost, not having Jordan out there is a huge part of that, obviously. But you can't forget guys like Tucker Kraft, who's not out there. He's tore his pec earlier this offseason. According to Goody, he is ahead of the curve as far as rehab goes. So that's good news. Looking forward to seeing him out there. Another notable is Zach Tom. He's practicing, but he isn't participating in the team drills. So that's a big hit as well. And just in general, the pads aren't on yet. So that makes it tough on the offensive line to really get after those trench guys like Rashawn and Kenny and all those dudes up front. We saw it last year. We've seen it in many camps over the years. The defense always seems to be on the side that's coming out on top just because the offense hasn't found its groove. Defense is ready to just get after it, as always, which is good. So, all right, let's get to why I'm here, and that is to chat with you guys every day, all the socials. I've said it before, I'm not an expert. I'm just a fan hanging out. A place to exert my passion for the Packers is to chat with all of you guys. Get a feel for where you're at. At this point, there's a decent amount of drama going on, which is fine. Gives me something more to talk about, so that's cool with me. Let's hop over to the chat, shall we? First question and or comment, as expected. Get Love his contract already. I'm with you, Molly. I really appreciate you tuning in. Throw some comments in there. Let's chat it up. Mal, I got a question. Who do you got to blame for this whole contract situation? Is it Jordan? Is it the front office? Is it Jordan's agent? Is it Goody? Is it Russ Ball? I think I'm going to side with Jordan, and that's kind of where I've been at this entire time. He's done the Packers plenty of favors over the years. He sat for 3 years. He came out last year, first year as a starter, blew it up, played great. All of the young cast. I think the front office, and this is a non-expert opinion, I'm not sure why it's taken this long. They've had since May to extend him. That's when he became eligible for an extension. And they could have had discussions following that 49ers playoff loss from that point on up until May to then just get it done. They would have avoided the contracts of Goff and Trevor Lawrence jacking up the price, so it would have just been a good thing all around. Get it done. No drama. Probably at a cheaper price because those guys both set the record for their current contracts as a quarterback. So I don't know. We'll see. I've said it every day in the show. On Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. I'm not worried yet If it gets to Friday, if it gets to this weekend and we haven't heard any news, then I'll start to worry. And we are at Thursday, 7 o'clock. And there hasn't been any encouraging news. Diana Rossini posted yesterday saying she's expecting for the deal to get done in the coming weeks, which is insane to think about. Weeks is way too long. That's just my opinion. He'd be missing a lot of camps. I was listening to Andy Herman the other day. Jordan throws, or he would have thrown 20 to 25 passes on Monday, maybe a little bit more on Tuesday. Same goes for yesterday at training camp. 1 day of missing, not a problem. 2 days of missing. All right, let's get this thing done. 3 days missing. Okay, we kind of got an issue here. You're missing 60, 70 snaps, 60, 70 throws. A bunch of opportunities with the running backs, handing it off, tossing it to them out of the backfield. Those snaps are starting to add up, and that's not good. That's not good. I just posted not too long ago. Goody was talking and said, every day he misses is not great for our football team. This time is really, really important for our entire team. And I completely agree. I'm not sure if this is his way of saying, I want him signed. I'm doing everything I can. It's them holding off or wanting more guaranteed, wanting something specific in the contract. We'll see. But an interesting tidbit, to say the least. Jonah, who is your favorite content creator related to the Packers? There are so many. Dylan, Rob, what up, my man? Good to see you. Shout out to Dylan, always hopping in. I can always count on you, man. Who's your favorite content creator related to the Packers? That's a great question, Jonah. There are so many, and I listen and absorb so much Packers content. I think it's because of the content creators that I know as much as I do, which I'm not saying I know a ton. It's just the knowledge I have is from other content creators putting out good content, putting out good Packers discussions. I can't name one specifically, but man, my day is consumed of by 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, I've listened to at least 2 Packers related podcasts or YouTube shows. So overall, I'll probably dive into 4 or 5 throughout the day, whether it's in the shower or mowing the lawn or at the gym or just doing chores around the house. My wife is a saint. She listens to all that stuff with me reluctantly. She doesn't mind it, but and with that, she has quite the knowledge as well, which is great. So thank you, Jonah, for the question. I appreciate it, man. Frankie just DM'd me probably 10 minutes ago on Twitter. I guess formerly Twitter, now X, asking a question about Jordan Love. I told him, hey, we're hopping on the show. Why don't you join us? And he did. So shout out to you, Frankie. What do you think Jordan is asking for? If I had to guess, I mean, I have no idea. I'm not a contract or like a cap space expert, but I would assume it has something to do with guaranteed money. I'm sure the price point or the amount of money is spoken for. It's just kind of how that's laid out. So that's probably why they're hung up. But again, I'm not an expert. That's just my gut feeling, which has been known to be wrong many times before. It's known to be right sometimes too, though. So that's kind of my guess, Frankie. Appreciate you again. Thanks for the message on X, formerly Twitter. That goes for all you guys. Shoot me a message, shoot me a post, a tweet, anything. I'm always down to chat it up. All day, every day. Thanks, Frankie. Isaiah, what's going on, my man? Thanks for hopping on YouTube. I appreciate that. Why are fans thinking backup quarterbacks stink? They're not even in pads yet. Yeah, well, they are backup quarterbacks for a reason. Not that they're terrible by any means, but there's a lot that goes into that. Yeah, there's no pads on. There's guys missing like Tucker Kraft. Jaden Reed hasn't been out in the field, at least for team drills. He was activated off the NFI list yesterday, I believe, but he only did individual drills, so nothing in team. Like you said, there's no pads, so the offensive line doesn't have a chance to really get inside and get their technique down and get a hold of those guys in the D line. So there's probably not that great of protection. It's hard to say. I haven't been to a training camp yet. I'll be up there next week checking it out, so I'll have a little more insight, or at least accurate insight, being there in person watching. But let's start with their backup quarterbacks. They're not going to be as good as Jordan. Hopefully I won't have to worry about that next week. Hopefully Jordan's out there, new contract, no drama, no nothing. And that won't be a discussion. But yeah, so far Sean Clifford specifically hasn't been doing the greatest. But I think Matt LaFleur said it best. Those guys around him got to step up too. So not all of it falls on Sean Clifford, but he's also not doing the greatest either. He's in the second year. He knows the offense. And he's got to step up a little bit, which is fine. That's what training camp's for. You're out there in practice, practicing to get better. So Tucker Kraft isn't out there either. Number 1, number 2 tight end, however you want to put it. So they're missing some guys. There's no pads. The defense is hopefully going to be good this year. Maybe that's a good reason too. Now, I've been fooled in the past thinking we're going to have a top 5, top 10. I only asked for a top 15 defense. Same goes for special teams. Special teams, I just want them to be competent. That's it. So there's your reasons. Backup quarterbacks, 1, no pads, 2, some guys aren't out on the field, 3, and number 4, maybe the defense is actually good, which I am hoping and praying for. I would love that. Who's the next Packer expected to get their bag besides Love? I would have said Kenny Clark, but he's obviously been signed. I think after Love, they're in a pretty good spot. Josh Jacobs just came over. You're not looking to beef him up after the next couple of years. He just signed. Our team's so young that I can't really pinpoint a specific person to throw in that conversation. I think now you just kind of got to focus. And I was listening to Packers Daily with Aaron Nagler yesterday, and this exact question was also asked. You got to focus now, and this was pretty close to what he answered, and I completely agree. So I am stealing / I feel the same way as Aaron does. Focus on the guys you want to bring in throughout the rest of training camp in preseason, whether it's injuries that happen to a specific position or guys that get cut that they had previously kind of looked at or maybe wanted, and focus on that realm of the roster. And that's pretty much it. They're in a good spot. They're young. I know everybody wants to think about those receivers down the line, but it'll all figure itself out. That's for sure. It always does, one way or the other, right? The Packers sphere keeps on spinning. Logan, what's going on, man? Over on Instagram, I appreciate you tuning in. Our defense is going to be a problem this season if we stay healthy. Absolutely. And the key thing there, as you stated, was if we stay healthy. And that's obviously key to every single team, every single year. Usually the teams that make it the furthest are somewhat near the top as far as health goes. Now, the 2010 run we had, we were injured. That was just a special run. That made that run that much more special. And we kept getting injured. Charles Woodson goes down in the Super Bowl. We still win that baby. I love it. But yeah, I'm hoping so. As I said earlier, I've been fooled in the past. I've been thinking we're going to have a top whatever defense, and I've been sorely proven wrong. And I'm hoping that had to do with Joe Barry and nobody else, because that would mean this year we are off and running. So, Logan, thanks for hopping in, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for the question. I guess thanks again for the comment. D Drake, holy, the jersey wall is sick. I appreciate it, my man. I've gotten all these signed in person. I only collect everything. Everything I collect is autographs I get in person. And yeah, I don't get autographs and sell them or anything. I keep them for the collection. So I was up at minicamp, brought up Edgerrin Cooper's jersey and Javon Bullard's jersey, and both of them were kind enough to stop and sign it for me. So I got to get those bad boys up. But yes, it has been a long and tiring journey of either waiting at training camp or pregame or mini camp, OTAs, autograph signings. And yeah, the little picture below each jersey frame is a picture of me and said player. That almost every picture in this room of me getting something signed was taken by my wife. So shout out to my wife. Appreciate the comment, man. Shoot me a DM and I'll send you a more detailed picture or a more detailed video. And if you have any questions on or stories behind, there's a story behind each one. I'd love to share it with you. Maui, top 10, not 5. He's not worth 60 million yet. No ring. I would assume you're referring to Jordan Love. I'm at a point now where whatever it takes, get it done. You need a quarterback to compete, and he's a darn good one from what we've seen so far. You've got to. There's no other option but to get it done. So whatever it takes to get it done. I understand playing a little hardball from Goody's side. But whatever it takes to get it done, you got to get it done. You need a quarterback to win in this league, and he's the guy. I mean, he's good, and he has the potential to be really good. So if that means, which I would assume, becoming the highest paid quarterback ever, then get it done. I have no issue with that. It's not my money. It's my team's money, and I guess that relates to how you can spread around other guys in the future, but the cap's going to go up. Quarterback prices are going to go up shortly after he signs. Somebody else will. Dak Prescott will break the quarterback record shortly after Jordan does. So get it done. That's it. Get her done. Mitchell, great question. On defense and offense, who are some players you see having a breakout season? Let's start on offense. And I won't say breakout, but man, if Christian Watson can be healthy for an entire season, we've seen when he is healthy, the kind of player he is, the kind of playmaker he is. He is special, man. He's like a Randy Moss type. Not saying he's going to be as good as Randy Moss. I'm not saying that. But you never know. I'd love to see Christian go off. I'd try to think of who else. That's a great question. I mean, there's so many guys over there. I think Josh Jacobs, right when we signed him, and I tweeted it out not too long ago, a couple weeks back, I said, I haven't given myself the chance to really soak in how good I think Josh Jacobs is going to be for us. And it may be my super optimistic side because I'm a huge optimist / homer. That's fine. I own it. But it's a great way to fan. It's fun. It's less negative. And when you're right, it makes it even more, or when what you're hoping for comes to fruition, it makes it that much more enjoyable rather than being negative and then being proved wrong. I don't get that part. So on defense, Kenny Clark, I think in this defense is going to do really well. Probably a big reason why they extended him because they think the same thing. Xavier McKinney, another free agent, just like Josh. These guys, Josh Jacobs, I'm sure most of us have seen an okay amount of, especially a couple years ago when he was all pro, the NFL leading rusher. But Xavier McKinney, myself, admittedly, I have not seen much of his film or his gameplay outside of when we played them. But I think he's going to be really good for us. So I'm excited to watch just that safety room as a whole. Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, Anthony Johnson Jr., Carrington Ballantyne. So, sorry, Corey Ballantyne. I always get those two mixed up. Yeah, it's going to be a fun year all around, really. I can't name specific players because there's guys all over the field, and that's what I'm excited about. Colin, who are your top 3 Packers ever? Ooh, that's a loaded question. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. I suppose you could do sort of a Mount Rushmore type of thing. I mean, quarterbacks, it's hard to not put Bart, Raj, or Favre up there. So I'll go non-quarterbacks. Reggie White for sure. Man, Ray Nitsch. There's so many. That's the joy of having one of the oldest franchises ever. A super filled history of just success and second most Hall of Fame players across the entire league. You could name 3 of any of the top 10 or 15 guys, and you could probably make an argument for all of them if you're not doing the quarterbacks. The greatest, my most favorite Packers ever, that's an easier one to answer. Ray Nitschke. My dad took me to meet him when I was about 2 or 3 years old. So I've got a picture of me, my dad, and Ray, and him signing some stuff for my dad. My dad eventually gave me some of that stuff, which is great. One of my favorite spots in the office is that picture and the item that was signed at that signing. Tramon Williams, kind of a dark horse as far as maybe favorite Packers across Packers fans. But yeah, he's always been one of my favorites for whatever reason. I played his position, growing up and in football back in high school and whatnot. Sorry to relive the glory days, but I've always had a good love for corners. So Tramon Williams for sure. And this one might disappoint some of you. It shouldn't, but it might, because kicker is such a controversial position. But Mason Crosby's been one of my top players, one of my most favorite players of all time as well. He's provided us with so many fun moments as a fan to witness. The first one that comes to mind is that kick in Dallas, 50-plus yarder. He had to do it twice. I mean, that was just insane. Another recent one that comes to mind is that 49ers game out in Santa Clara where, there was probably 30 seconds left, 40 seconds left, and Raj got him down just in the position to hit a field goal, and he smokes it for the win. There's so many game-winning. My first one of the first Packer games I went to when I was younger, Monday night game against the Niners, he hit a game-winning field goal, and we were down the entire game, and I think we were down by 10 with 2 minutes left, and we somehow ended up winning it. And yeah, he's a big Christian. He's a Christian, and I've always aligned well with his beliefs and his comments and his off the field activities and the things that he supports. So yeah, Mason's one of my faves. There's so many favorites on the team currently. Oh man, Jair for sure. Love Jair. Jordan's fun. I enjoy all his interviews that he's taken part in. I love listening to him speak. Who else? Yeah, I'll just leave it at those 2 for now. All right. Let's get back in the chat here. Thank you there, Josiah, for the question. I appreciate that. Who leads the Packers in receiving this year? Mason, thank you for the question. I'm going to go Jaden Reed overall as far as receiving yards, catches maybe. And for touchdowns, I'm going to go Christian Watson. I'm fully expecting him to be healthy because why would I not? Why would I want to see him hurt or expect to see him hurt? I'm just going to kind of manifest it. And he's going to be healthy all year long and lead us in touchdowns, maybe with like 13, 14. That'd be insane. There's a lot of guys to feed, though, so that might be a little high. But, yeah, Jaden Reed overall as far as catches and yards go, and then Christian Watson for touchdowns. Thank you, Mason, for the question. Appreciate you. I'm going to training camp. What restaurants should I hit up? That is a great question because I love food. I love going to restaurants, especially on vacation. That's one of my favorite parts of vacation. Finding a good spot, some good food, some good drinks. One of my favorite spots in Green Bay when I'm in Green Bay, and I'll be up there next week, and I'll be hitting up this spot, is Fox Harbor. Fox Harbor is very good. It's across the river in downtown Green Bay ish. And yeah, it's great. The fish is good. Quesadillas are good. Long Island iced teas, of course, are delicious. I've been there a lot of times over the years, and I've never been disappointed. So, Fox Harbor, I'll be at your spot next week, and I can't wait. I highly recommend it. And if you're a fish person, get the fish. It's good. Um, Stadium view, if you're around training camp, that's always fun. A block or two from the practice fields. They've got some good food, some good drinks. It's cool to sit in there. They've got so much Packer stuff on the walls. They've got Super Bowl trophies up. They've got pictures and jerseys and all that type of stuff all over the walls and paintings and just a bunch of cool stuff that on your way to the bathroom you make pit stops at and check out all this stuff. That's a great spot, especially if you're right down there at practice. Now, if you're hanging out, let's say at the hotel at night or at a buddy's house at night or at an Airbnb, whether you want to go to Sammy's, which is an Italian restaurant, it is on Oneida, just down the street from Lambeau. They've got pizza, they've got pasta. We always get the pizza. It's so good. Whether we go there and eat it, sometimes we get it for takeout, chow it down at the hotel, get ready for another day at training camp the next day, and then we might go back there that same night or that next night because it is just that good. So I named 3 of them there for you. I hope that helps you out. Fox Harbor, right across the river in Green Bay. Get the fish, get the quesadilla. Long Island iced teas are great. Stadium view, if you're right by the practice fields or Lambeau, that's always good. In Sammy's Italian restaurant, their pizza's great. I have not had their pasta. I've had their pizza many, many times. Haven't had their pasta. I'm sure it's good. It looks really good every time I've been in there. And of course, you can't go wrong with 1919. That's the restaurant inside Lambeau. Usually, we'll hit up 1919 right when I get into town, just to be at Lambeau, run through the pro shop quick, go grab some food. Their food is really good. And you're sitting inside Lambeau Field, eating some food, looking out in the parking lots, all the fans, everybody, whatnot, having a great time. That's always the vibe there. I think is unmatched. So, hope that helps you out. All right, what do we got? I heard from Isaiah. I heard Rashawn Gary took a shot at Joe Barry. Do you know what it is? I know what you're referencing, but not off the top of my head. I think it was kind of a sly, indirect comment that everybody was implying was towards Joe Barry. But I don't, I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of the guys, I'm sure, were not a huge fan of the way the defensives ran. Maybe their voices weren't being heard as much as they wanted to, as much as they wanted them to be. It wouldn't surprise me. Rashawn is a dog. Love me some Rashawn. I know with Love's contract, this is an interesting one, Alex, and kind of a hot take one, if I'm being honest. No offense, of course. I know with Love's contract in the works, it's almost impossible, but would you take a chance on Ayuk if possible? No. I mean, obviously, if we had Brandon Ayuk on our team, would our team be better? Yes. But obviously, there's much more that goes into bringing in a player, and especially a player who's about to sign a massive contract. That kind of throw everything for a loop as far as the guys that we already have. So I think we've done a good job. The goal when you draft all the players you draft is to sign them to big contracts, because that means they panned out to be a good player. So free agency is always next up on the list, and or trading. In this case, that would be the case for Brandon. not only would we have to pay him a huge contract, we would have to trade either assets or draft picks for him. And from this situation, I'm kind of getting a diva vibe from him. I have not followed it too closely just because I know the possibility of us even sniffing him joining our team is very slim. So I haven't really put too much of my time into reading anything that's posted about it. I just know he's obviously holding out. So I do not think we are taking a chance on Ayuk to answer your question, but I do appreciate your question, Alex. Thank you. Tremont was a dog. Yes, he was. I love me some Tremont Williams. Man, there's so many plays that come to mind when I think of Tremont Williams. The first one being the pick six right before half against Atlanta in the playoff run. The second one is in that same playoff run against Philly, the pick to pretty much seal the game. So there's so many memories with Tremont Williams, and that's a big reason why he's one of my favorite players of all time. So I always loved James Starks. Yeah, he had a great little run for us during that same Super Bowl run. Love me some Starks. Man, we're just going back in time here. Miss Jordy Nelson every day. Yep, it's not on the screen, but I had a chance to meet Jordy a few times. One of them was at Stadium View, so not only do they have good food, they have autograph signings sometimes. The other was at his charity softball game, and his jersey is actually right in front of me, so I'll have to switch things around so you guys can check it out. What else we got? Jay Beck in the house. One of my good buddies. Without Sam Gatto, we can't establish the run game. Well, we'll see if we can establish the run game this year. I was listening to a podcast the other day talking about the offensive line last year produced or played as a top unit. But when you go down those individual guys, there isn't someone that really is a top guy. They played as a top unit together, but there specifically is no top guy league wide, of course. And I think that's why a lot of people are kind of lowering outside of the Packers sphere, obviously, the expectations for the run game and whatnot. I'm not. So hopefully we can establish a run. And without Sam Gatto, I think we can get it done. That's a good throwback, though. All right. That is a good one to end it on. Thanks, Johnny. Miss ya. That's going to do it for me today. The show is over, but the content never stops. I'm always posting Packer stuff all day long, every single day. If you guys are following me, you already know that. But if you're not following me, please do. I am at GBP Daily on every social platform, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. I am everywhere, and I'm posting content all the time, all day long, literally. So please shoot me a follow. Shoot me a message if you want to chat some football. I'm always down anytime, any day. And if you have not so far, this one's important to me at least. Could you subscribe to my YouTube channel? That's really what I'm trying to build up here. And eventually I'll move over to YouTube by itself. I wanted to go live on all the platforms just to kind of get everybody in one spot. But YouTube is where I will be at in the near future. If you could please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Links are in all the bios of my social media platforms. I'd appreciate it. I'll be back and at it again tomorrow. And I look forward to seeing you all then. And until then, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.